I'm gonna get really good at that Bill Burr thing. When he has to yell something, he just goes like, "No, feminist!" yeah, exactly.
I gotta do that with my laugh. I'll have to go, ha, ha, ha.
Happy promotion, AD.
Thank you.
Senior director. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier about this, about like just titles, because I was like so close to becoming something other than content strategist. It's these titles that aren't necessarily set, but they all kind of mean the same thing, is that like, here's your rung on the ladder, right? Because they'll start off with assistant, right? Executive assistant, marketing assistant. Sometimes it'll be intern, right? That's even below that. But above that is this like weird middle stage coordinator, right? You're a sales coordinator, marketing coordinator, business coordinator, delivery coordinator. Then you just want to like up it director or manager or something, because they'll tack manager or director on anything. It doesn't actually mean that you manage people, just like you manage a situation.
Well, you could pretty much call yourself anything you want to if you know how to bend the words right.
But then you get lead or senior on your tag. That's like the next round up. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you're there, it's like one little short leap into the C-suite. The chief executive. Because when you have executive in your name, that's like, what is it? That's, you make the decisions. You say the thing and they execute. But then you get the C in front of that, the chief executive. It's like, okay, so even out of all the people who make the decisions, you have the most seniority.
You make the decisions that they make.
Welcome to the Forest Creek podcast. I have a decoy account on Facebook.
Only old people use Facebook now.
I'll tell you what I do use the most: LinkedIn.
I literally never use LinkedIn.
I've weirdly become, like, it's become my new Facebook. I don't know what it is. It's like a more, because it's like for business, it's almost a more effective Facebook. And the whole point is that you're using it to generally do business and to raise your professional profile, right?
Yeah,
But
well, it beats
because of that,
marketplace, that's for sure.
it has a totally different economy in that sense, because everybody's living by the resumes.
Yeah.
Right? Your profile is like a resume.
Well, it's like your, well, Facebook's like private, personal, and LinkedIn's your professional, right?
Yeah.
It's the professional portfolio that you present. But they basically made a social network out of it, which was genius.
It is almost designed for you to effectively stalk people. Because that's the whole point, right? You're looking up people's like resumes, their profiles. So you got like, if you do a real full profile, you've got your history, your entire career history on there.
Yeah.
Some people take it a step further, right? I do this. I post about the milestones, right? It's like a professional thing. To be like, hey, I'm still here. Look what I accomplished. Going to do the next thing. They always end the same way. It's like, so I've written like 3 of them. It's the laziest social media work I've ever done. Then you got the next layer beyond that is the people who then turn it back into Facebook. And they share these stories. And the stories, it's like sometimes it's like their political take on an article. And it might be genuinely professional. But a lot of times it isn't. There's cartoons, there's memes, there's GIFs, there's ads galore. I don't know. I just have a ton of fun. I have more fun on LinkedIn than I thought because it's like there's sap stories. There's people who like, now the thing is, let's share essays about mental health at work. That's the new fun thing to do. It gets a ton of support. LinkedIn loves that stuff. The anti-work thing kind of came up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anti-work is freaking ridiculous.
That's one part of the same kind of like wave that has people suddenly talking about, I should be able to work from home whenever I want.
No, it's not even that.
Right?
Oh, I guess that's like
influenced
that's
by anti-work. I'm saying it's like the same wave of people. who are trying to get more power for the employee in the workplace.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to get it more comfortable out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. We just watched a video. Tim Dillon. A favorite comedian of mine.
Dude. I could say he's my favorite comedian. I don't know. I'm torn because Mark Normand, and Sam Morril are also really good.
They are really funny.
Although Tim Dillon's podcast is better.
Oh yeah, I think it's like he's in a class of his own.
Yeah.
Because I know him better as a podcaster than a comedian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing that blew him up.
Yeah.
It's like was his podcast.
Even though his stand-up is excellent.
Dude, when we saw him here, oh, it was so freaking good.
Yes. We're out of the Vancouver kind of area. We saw him over at Rick Bronson's. It was pretty good.
West.
Sorry, AD, you're here.
Yeah.
Thanks for making yourself known.
Well, it's like
you just came here
I
to
only
look.
know Tim Dillon because of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't really watched his stuff. Like I don't watch his stuff when I'm by myself. I only hear about it through you guys, and then you guys send me videos. And from what I've seen, yeah, he's funny and not in where he's like really trying to make jokes. He kind of has a natural humor, right? It kind of seems like it comes easier to him, kind of like Bill Burr. Like Bill Burr is one of those guys who. I mean, I've seen videos where he's literally just walking around, like when he goes to tour. Yeah. He just walks around the city and he's just pointing things out and he's hilarious. Yeah, man. It's like the way comedians view things is so different from the average person. Very philosophical people, and Tim Dillon's no different. And I guess he definitely shows that in the video we watched.
An incredible talent for it that he seems to possess. And I think it comes out very well in podcasting in particular. There's a lot of comedians who run like very successful podcasts. Mark Normand and Sam Morril run one, don't they?
Wait, so the video we watched was a clip from a podcast? It
was a clip from the Tim Dillon show.
Oh, yeah, because he's very colorful. Like he's got a huge personality. He's so good at impressions. Like he can just, pull all these impressions, and he kind of jumps from one thing to the next in the same, talking about the same story. He's a good storyteller. So. I actually didn't know that was from a podcast. Before we continue on that, the YouTube channel it was on, AfterSkool?
Yeah, with a K.
Yeah, school with a K. They do these like whiteboard drawings with clips of somebody philosophical speaking. Philosophical or, wise or funny or something. Maybe even like poetic. I don't know, have you guys watched a lot of their videos before?
I think I've seen like one or two before. And yeah, like basically it's like a time lapse kind of doodling. Obviously the sketches are about what's being talked about, and it kind of helps illustrate in a really creative, fun way. I think it's not the guy who makes it is also, I think, almost commenting on whatever audio clip is overlaying it. It's almost like he's commenting on it through his art. That's how I see it.
The art style is very much like a newspaper comic.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They've done people just like I feel like they've done a number of comedians. But they have done people like Alan Watts.
They've done Alan Watts?
Of course they've done Alan. They've probably done more than one. Jordan Peterson. They've done. I think they've even done people like Jocko Willink, maybe. I don't know, that kind of circle. We listen to a lot of Akira the Don. You and I. I'm talking to Jarrod.
Yeah. Oh, right. There's a third person here.
And
who?
Oh, nice one, bro.
And the whole Akira the Don thing. He's a lo-fi artist, hip hop artist, instrumental artist who clips people who are like speaking philosophically about something.
Yeah.
And just makes really great beats out of them.
Sick beats to it, bro.
AfterSkool satisfies that similar kind of like wanting,
but on a visual level.
Yeah,
that's a good comparison. Because I heard the Jordan Peterson, like Akira the Don ones.
Oh yeah,
clean up your room, and it's got like this lo-fi
in
the background.
His Jocko Willink ones are the most popular. They're so freaking good.
I haven't listened to those ones.
Discipline equals freedom.
But in this case, the AfterSkool thing with Tim Dillon, who is kind of like the next Gonzo avatar. Commenting on something based on the subjective experience.
Yeah.
First. And I think that's kind of what makes comedy come alive. Right? Granted, it's not like he's experienced everything he's talking about. It exists. And that's the thing that kind of brings you into.
Talks about is like to a degree everyone's experienced. Well, I mean, this thing in particular, a lot of the stuff he talks about, not necessarily.
So this one was the big lie. The big lie that it exists and that it will make you happy. What the heck is he talking about?
Well, like in the video, he's basically talking about the lie that a lot of, I guess, motivational speakers, but it's not really just motivational speakers. It's like aristocrats or oligarchs
It's just the general thing that you hear all around everywhere.
Yeah, but like in the if you I guess we're probably gonna link the video to this, right? So people can watch it.
No, I'll drop a link, of course.
But like definitely
probably tag him in the socials just for fun.
The cartoons that are drawn are showing like a lot of like basically these really greedy. Like if you were to like depict greed, his best way of like this guy does a pretty good job of it. And
dude, so the one with the big guy sitting on the toilet, it's like, because you want an empire.
He does a really great job of like kind of bringing you into the bit.
Yeah,
I love that one part where he's like, he kind of explains like, hey, maybe the thing that makes you happy isn't money after all and materialism. Maybe it's things like community and your social obligations to others. And
what?
We're not doing it justice. Go watch the video, but it is profound.
It's
a simple idea put in a profound way.
Yeah, I think like he's basically just talking about how people are sold this lie about what's actually going to make them happy, and that, at least to me when I watched it, I'm not sure it was heavily influenced by the cartoons that were drawn. It's a lie that's particularly like kind of foisted on the people. They're basically, it's like almost like propaganda, right? The way it's presented, it's not actually like they have enough common sense to know what makes them happy, but it's like this thing that will literally not make them happy, actually will do the opposite, is superimposed on them, and then they're forced to follow it, and then they can't fit, because it's basically they're brainwashed into forgetting about what actually made them happy to begin with. And so there's that funny moment where he's basically just talking about like, you have to find the thing, right? Just in yourself, right? Glorify yourself. And then eventually it's like, wait, so family, friends, social commitments are actually the key to happiness? Yeah. What?
Yeah, one of the things I love the most about it is the video starts with him being skeptical that you should even be happy all the time. He's like, you think you want happiness all the time, right? But I mean, I think one thing that really rings out is not just, I mean, it's symbolized with money, it's symbolized by the greed, but it's the materialism. And you can be material in any sense, and even if that is wanting the dopamine chemicals.
Well, like I think he pretty much nails it when he says that the thing that actually brings happiness is fulfillment, which typically comes from being part of something which is bigger than yourself. And so he gives like the most basic, obvious, common example is the family, right? When you have a family, these are, kind of, it's on a small scale, these are commitments that you make, which will, again, like your children will have children. It's something that grows, that there's traditions that are passed down, right? And so that, again, it makes you feel like there's a greater purpose. There's something more than yourself going on here. So it brings the person outside of themselves to like focus on helping other people. And he says like that actually makes you happy. Whereas what they're selling you is basically keep looking inside. Keep looking inside. Don't look out there. Don't look out there. Look inside. Find it.
It's in you. What is it?
And we've come to it. What is it?
The thing.
The
thing you want.
The thing that'll help you be happy.
Yeah.
And that's the other part that I love is the plan. Is like, you have the plan, you have the dream. All you have to do is execute it. There's no steps in between here and there. Just go do it. You're lazy. Yeah. You could go do it right now.
Yeah. And then he also talks about like the geographic problems, right? It's like, the fact that you had like 2 cocaine addicts as mother and father, or the fact that you grew up in like the poorest country ever, or maybe you have like some type of disease, like, oh no, that doesn't matter. That won't interrupt you getting it.
Come out to LA. Stop.
Not doing it justice. Gotta, yeah. But
that's because I don't have like 20 years of smoking cigarettes and doing cocaine to ruin my voice.
I mean, it used to just be Hollywood that you would think you could be a star.
Yeah.
Now we realize it's anything and everything. Yeah. And you can do it in your pocket.
In all the podcasts I've listened to and stuff, it's like people talking about, not even talking about becoming a podcaster, but doing anything. You can do it remotely now. It's like becoming your own entity online. It doesn't matter where you are or to a degree what equipment you have. It's like, do you have a computer? Do you have connection to the internet? You can do a lot of stuff.
See, guys, what I tell you, we're at the pinnacle now. We've done it. This is the podcast. We're here. So few dare to cross this into this dimension, but here we are in the podcast dimension.
We just need to move to LA and then we'll be complete.
Yeah, but so what is it? Don't know.
It's the thing you want.
The thing
that'll
you
make
want.
you happy.
The thing that will allow you to execute and then get the dream.
Well, like it's a kind of like when you listen to it, it's funny because it's stupid. It's like it, and he's making it's very satirical the way he's presenting it, but it's brilliant. It's actually brilliant comedy because you realize like, holy cow, it's really stupid actually.
But dude, it's like that's the phrase all these motivational speakers use. Do you want it? Then go get it. It's like, huh?
Do you think it exists?
Thing I heard from Alan Watts. You're it.
Circular.
I guess we have to define what it is, but that's kind of the joke, right? We don't want to ruin the joke.
Like it.
No, I'm kidding.
It's like, so if you're, the way I understood it is like the it is just this, they're basically, it's like this thing that's within yourself, like the way he presented it. You don't know what it is, but it's going to make you happy. And then they basically just make a bunch of money. And most of it's just self-improvement, right? So it's like, and then he in the video, he shows all these ways that like, get a tree, get some nice fresh bark.
Go take a walk.
Here's
Lots of walks.
Wood. You like the
don't
sound
eat
of wood?
carbs, no sugar, no carbs.
Read more.
Yeah, do all these self-improvement things.
Yeah.
And so, and that's true. You see a lot of like self-improvement. Like I guess that would be an example of it, but it's like, why? Why do I want to?
Because you want an empire.
We don't want to just reenact the whole thing.
I kind of do.
But that, I think that's the it is basically just it's like a.
It's essentially the whole idea that what's going to make you happy is somewhere else, even though they say it's within you.
Right,
like it's more so they're saying the ability to get that thing that will make you happy is within you. You just need to bring it out, and then you can enact it in the world, and then you'll eventually get the thing. You'll get the it that makes you happy. But that's what I like about the whole idea of Zen teachings and things, and Stoicism and Christianity and whatnot. That it's like, it's actually no, you don't need to go get something. It's right here. You just need to actually look at it and see it.
Well, that's the joke too, right? It's part of the joke too, is that it is within you.
Yeah.
It's within you. It's just something inherent. You're the destined one. You will become the billionaire. You will become the movie star, whatever it is. Where's the line between that and just like honest ambition? Right?
But like, I think another huge point that he makes is like, again, it's like really just being forced on people. Like it's just, you just like imagine like, and literally the way it's cartoon is like you just have a kid and he's just sitting in the grass and he's freaking happy. He's just smiling. He's just having a good time. And all of a sudden you have this, I guess this would be the Empire guy come in and be like, hey, you need it.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? I need it? And it's like, yeah, you need this. And he's like, but I'm happy. He's like, no, you're not. And so that's kind of, that's part of it, is like the default was essentially like you had more common sense figuring out what would make you happy before you started listening to these, these.
I think the one part of it, the one part of his little spiel that I think illustrates that the most is the guy that in the video they drew standing on the podium telling people stuff. It's like, you want it. And the guy in the crowd says, do I? It's like, yeah, you do.
Should you even be happy all the time? Yeah.
Can we think of some modern examples of this?
Is this, wait, what do you mean?
I don't know.
Because this
like,
is a modern example, the whole thing.
Right.
It's like that whole video, the whole thing he's talking about, everybody knows exactly what he's talking about because we all hear it all the time.
I'll give you a very easy modern example. I started the Forest Creek because I want to become rich and famous. This is it. This is it.
We're it.
That's the name of the podcast. We're it. So to apply this to what we were earlier talking about, LinkedIn, and just all the people who are like posting these paragraph-long stories about how they realized it wasn't actually the higher position at their job, the higher salary, but rather a better home-life balance. I'm sorry. It's just so funny to hear these office terms and then like consider them for what they are, and they are like sincere terms. This is what I mean. But it's so funny the way that it gets overused.
And the corporate man saw that and
you want an empire.
Grabbed it. He wanted an empire.
One of our friends is headed west, the oil sands.
East.
East. Man, it feels like it's west. East. I failed geography. No, I'm
I
kidding.
knew you were East Coast.
I colored in. Hey, just a quick little side thing. Did you guys also have to color a Canadian map almost every year?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like government mandated that you pencil crayon in this sucker.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that.
Dude, I tried to stay in the lines. It did not work.
And here I am still like just so caught up in thinking about other things that I'm like, west. The oil sands.
We're almost as far west as we can be right now.
We're at the edge of the west.
If he was going west,
flat.
we wouldn't have a going away party. We'd have okay, I'll see you next weekend.
Going east to the oil sands where people give up a lot of life to go work.
Dude, he was saying one of his options was work for 6 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then take a month off. And then that repeat.
Yeah, well, you basically work, I think, most of the time it's 20 days on, 10 days off.
Yeah, you mentioned that one too, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, he's basically, it's a trade-off, right? I actually have, I know a handful of people that have done that. I have a soccer teammate. He worked in the rigs, the oil sands in Alberta for like maybe 4 or 5 years. He aged probably like 15 years in 5 years. Like the guy's, I thought he was like 35, 40. Turns out he's only 29.
Oh my gosh.
But he made a ton of money. Like the guy probably made like 250,000 in that or more. I think he saved up
over those hours,
and
skilled labor.
Made some good property investments, started like some landscaping companies, and now he's a millionaire.
Oh, is that the guy you're telling me?
Yeah. Dude. So Kyle, I think I don't know if he'll do that, but it seems like might be an option for him.
But this isn't a judgment on the people who do choose to do that. It's just, as they will tell you, it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people are perfectly fine with that. I mean, think about that. You get a whole freaking month off. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
But also, if you make enough money and you
save up.
Exactly. If you save up, then you can actually end up you can retire early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's part of, it's like when he was talking about possibly taking that deal, that was part of it. He'd only do it for like a year. Only, but still.
Well, I mean, just enough to get like a start, and that's sometimes all people need. Just pay off the house, pay off the car, pay off the thing.
Dude, not having debt is so insanely massive.
Yeah.
Savings freaking skyrocket.
That's an advantage.
Yeah.
That's an advantage because debt is like the day-to-day.
Well, debt's like
almost the whole deal if you think about it.
Yeah.
Debt is literally like a modern. You might not. I know you've complained when I've used this. I'm not the first to use it, but I compare debt to like a modern form of slavery.
If you're not actively trying to destroy capitalism,
you're fired.
Well, it's like what we're getting at is not necessarily the best thing to go in the opposite direction and be like, if you're not actively trying to win capitalism, you don't have to do either of the extremes. You can find whatever the happy medium is for you.
Like in life, you need balance.
And that's what I've realized, and why I'm writing this 3-paragraph long LinkedIn post.
And this is why I'm joining the anti-work movement.
Oh man, anti-work is so interesting. It was like, so is your opinion that nobody should work?
Their opinion is that I don't want to work. I should just get money.
Is it just like an active protest?
I would think it's an inactive protest because actively protesting is working.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is this going to be like the new Sabbath, but 24/7? Hey, you can't do something.
Well, people always talk about how corporatism kind of starts to emulate like religion in some ways, right? We have Juneteenth now. That is our religious holiday.
What
the heck is that?
Juneteenth is Emancipation Day from the States, which is like, to be fair, should be a holiday to some degree, but like the way it's celebrated in corporate culture, or all of June instead as Pride Month.
Yeah,
it's like everybody put up the rainbows. This is the holy garb. Make sure it's correct. Make sure it's the right flag. Yeah, it's like a corporate religion.
Corporations are, they operate. I mean, it's basically natural law, right? So they operate pretty much the exact same as a religion would. right? They have a creed, or they would call them, I don't know, their company values or whatever. And those are the principles which kind of root everything. I remember I was at not too long, a couple months ago, there was like these strategy sessions at the corporation I worked for. And I was just like, you know, they had like different speakers come up and they had these different PowerPoints and these different activities that they were getting us all to do. And I'm like, this is all so religious. Like, obviously, I'm a religious person, but I was just like, holy cow, it really does feel like you're practicing.
You're sitting there going, am I in catechism?
Well, I mean, we just did it 5 minutes ago with this happy tree thing.
I know, right?
So, like,
That's why I gasped when you said company values. I was like, we literally just talked about this an hour ago.
Right?
For example, like a Christian company, they're usually looking for Christians, or like a Muslim company, they prefer to like hire Muslims and whatnot. A secular company, they have their own values. They're looking for people who will align with those values.
You don't understand. One of those values is diversity. That means we do all of the things. That's our goal.
We do everything.
It's to get all of the things, to have all of the kinds of people, no matter what that means for this company.
We want the most it possible.
Yeah.
Well, even like on a we can raise it up, right? So you have it like on a corporate level, family level, but then you also have these values, like this kind of the religious on a national level, right? And so Canada, we have that's what defines our culture, right? It's like culture ultimately boils down to what are the core values that are commonly shared in that particular country.
I mean, like, hey, even those corporations, you are saying what your values are and you're recruiting to your values. People bring their own values, right? So, and in that same sense, to Canada, same thing. People bring their own values. The thing is, sometimes those values are defined in conflict with one another.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of times corporations, they won't like that person, right? If they sense that this person is going to seriously disrupt the flow that they have. So, for example, if I know a lot of corporations right now are they have like the whole pronoun thing going on. It would be considered, I'm pretty sure now, most corporations, like at least the mainstream ones, would consider discrimination if you refuse to refer to someone who's transgender with their preferred pronoun. Let's say you have you have like a conscientious objection to that because, you know, let's say you're Christian and I believe there's man and woman, and I'd be bearing false witness if I were to say that, right? And that's like bugging your conscience. It like pricks your conscience, and you're like, I cannot in good conscience say their, like, I can call them their name, I can just avoid, I'll just be quiet, but I cannot say whatever their pronoun it is because I
get thee behind me, Jordan Peterson. You just got kicked off of Twitter for this. What are you trying to do to this podcast?
Well, no, I've just pointed.
It's all hypotheticals. None of this is real. No, these people don't exist.
Most companies now,
what do you mean
they align with that. That's one of their values, right? And so if you had a Christian or a Catholic or even a Muslim or whoever that would refuse to basically oblige that could be basically, well, let's say they're not in the company, they might not ever get hired, and let's say they are in the company, they could legitimately get fired.
It's if you're looking for people when you're hiring who are going to be homogenous to those values. You're looking for people who are going to be the most homogenous to your corporate structure, especially if you're convinced that your corporate structure is headed in the correct direction. What does pronouns do for my corporate structure? Well, if people have a certain grievance around the way that they're addressed, for them to put the way they want to be addressed, first and foremost, right by their name, everywhere they go, makes it super easy for me, the corporation, to identify the way to address this grievance almost immediately. So if that's what you got to do for us to slide by HR, or to at least have some way to process this that doesn't end with us in shambles, do it. I don't care. It helps my corporate structure.
But you see, a lot of these values are imposed, right? They're not always like organic.
They're grievances.
What do you mean start. What do you mean imposed?
So, for example, a lot of times companies will adopt a value that they, like, let's say the CEO or whoever originally started the company, like their values will change. And we know this to be the case because corporations adapt and they're always for progress or whatever. Basically, they just care about making money.
Right.
And so if a cultural value changes, right? Like, let's say back in the 80s, most people were not pro-gay marriage, like Hillary Clinton, Obama. I think both of them were on record for being anti-gay marriage. Fast forward maybe 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden it's culturally popular. Like, it's now actually this is the politically opportune thing to
The
say or
biggest
to vote for, right?
And most corporate structure of all is government. Of
Yeah,
course, it produces
exactly.
those kind of
No,
people.
absolutely, yeah.
Right. Where like the branding is the most important
But I
thing.
mean,
Right, which is
the-
why culture is like that's it. That kind of those the values in the culture will affect the values in corporations.
Why
and
is this
everything
not
else.
like what's your point here? It's not a shock. These corporations want to attract people to buy their
Right,
product.
right.
So why would you
Hang on a
actively
second,
go
hang on a
against the
second.
thing that people like?
Sorry to
That could be
interrupt
your
you.
value.
Oh, sorry, that's it's
Okay, yeah, no, that's okay. I think it's kind of... for those listening to the music up in the corner there, that is Jarrod's
it's my landlord's whatever they're playing is coming through the vent above my oven.
Beautiful. Which I feel like is perfect atmosphere for this discussion. You know, we've delved into the philosophical part, but now we are reminded of our material world. But the thing is, if you get too into that materialism, then you start wanting to be happy all the time. Then you start wanting to find it. Then you start falling down the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we're starting to come on to how chasing it can be manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be told what you want for it.
Yeah, I think it was pointed out pretty well in that video when he's like, people just say, "I just want to be happy." But what does that mean? And if you don't know what that means, I think it's better for the people trying to sell you stuff that nobody really know. Like, happy is so generic, and anything can make you happy. So can my product. Here, buy my product; it will make you happy.
Just like we said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I learned on LinkedIn, that I don't have to be... You'll learn more from just doing the thing that you feel fits you best and that works. Not necessarily the thing that makes you the most comfortable, but the thing that might make you the most fulfilled, so that you are actually going after the effect of whatever it is supposed to provide you, than chasing the impossible it. Which in some sense, I guess, doesn't exist and does.
You're it.
Well, also, but it isn't in you. You're it, but it isn't in you. You're it. Just like Alan Watts said. That's the antidote to Tim Dillon.
Boom.
Alan Watts.
I'm lost.
You need to listen to more Alan Watts and Tim Dillon.
You're right.
Together, like back to back.
No,
I'm not
no, at the
prescribing that. That's
same
actually
time.
a terrible
That's
idea.
basically what I did today. On my drive home, I finished the latest podcast, and then I popped on the Alan Watts lecture that I was playing the night before.
Oh my god. And as you can hear, Jarrod has a problem.
I'm insane.
This
Hit
is
us
AD.
up.
It's been nice being with all of you.
Find out on our Patreon.
Yeah,
with a $5
Patreon
a month
exclusive.
subscription. It's very affordable. That's our executive level. You can still get in at the extra podcast at the $1 a month level.
We actually have a Patreon.
No, but we will.
We
That's
should
the goal.
we should promise that by subscribing to our Patreon, we will provide you it.
Do you want it? How much of it do you want?
We can have all of it.
Because I am going to get it. You may not in your
I've already
regular
got it.
life. You may not. But I, in some ways, already have it because it is the Forest Creek. We have a couple more episodes coming up that
Do we?
I am working on editing now.
Ooh.
This episode will come before them. Sorry if you've been waiting this whole time, but also I don't know who you are. I recorded an episode with my sister where we reviewed the Bob's Burgers movie,
Ooh, I still want to see that.
which we were both big fans of, she and I. So we recorded it the day before her birthday.
Mm.
And it's going to come much later, just like Dadder Day did. Late. That's the style. Because it gets done when it gets done at this point. We got another episode that Kyle and I did with a firearms instructor that we'd visited to get our licenses done. And I wanted to bring him on and just have a conversation with him. Be like, just to kind of get a sample of what it's like to talk to somebody who is in that world. We were just talking about reviewing Andrew Schultz's special.
Mm.
That's another comedian I don't really know much about.
I literally had not heard of him until Tim Dillon's podcast.
I've
He
seen like
was-
clips, and that's about it.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about in future episodes?
I thought we were gonna do like a philosophy heavy
Yeah.
podcast.
Certainly.
Want to test the waters on that?
A trip through, I guess, some basic... You should break out that textbook I let you.
Yeah, it's really good.
We'll just go through
Doing
a few
philosophy, yeah.
go through a few of the headers.
I'll break out the textbook you gave me, Prometheus.
Promethea?
Yeah.
It's a graphic novel, which we should also do a podcast about. Honestly, it's so laden with symbolism.
I don't know when I'm going to get to read it. I'm not even halfway through Dead Saints Chronicles.
Well, take a break. It's a graphic novel.
That's
like
true.
Cartoons.
We could do like a whole podcast just on like Watchmen, the symbolism of Watchmen.
I could do several podcasts on Alan Moore, who is an actual wizard. Writer of Promethea and Watchmen.
I think you told me about Alan Moore and his wizardry, right?
I learned it from him.
I got it from you by proximity.
That's how information travels.
That's wild. Because I remember you specifically telling me about him. Everything comes from Raph, apparently.
I'm hoping I can get Father AP on.
Ooh, yeah.
We recently played a game of Dungeons and Dragons with a Coptic Orthodox priest.
I would love to talk with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
if we can make it work. I just want to get him at all.
Let's get him in my basement.
Which is where we are now. Listen for the music. It's not there.
No, it is.
It's definitely there.
Okay. An episode with Kyle.
Huh?
An episode with Kyle, our friend who is going east to the oil sands. He's going to talk to us about his new truck.
Nice.
And also his plans to go east to the oil sands.
Nice.
Learn about it firsthand. Why does somebody go to Alberta?
Why would anybody go to Alberta?
Forsake this urbane comfort of beautiful British Columbia, specifically this part of Vancouver, to run away and go east. Almost said west. East.
Because it's affordable.
Yeah, actually, for real.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's literally one of the main reasons.
Less than the cost of an apartment here. Several acres of land and a house.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's something we can talk about.
Several acres of land and a house?
Inflation.
Oh, you mean, according to Polyev, Justin-flation, as he calls it. Freaking kills me that he thinks he came up with that. He claims that he came up with the term Justin-flation.
You can get these guys' political hot takes at Kraz Jazz.
Don't out me.
No? I shouldn't out you? You don't want to be popular? You don't want the followers? But you can be a star.
I can be a star. I'm going out to LA.
You can find the Forest Creek's non-political, not very hot takes at the Forest Creek on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn.
Rumble.
I don't think we have. We might have a Rumble. SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
I probably said Spotify already.
You did. We're on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Whoa, you're an independent solo SoundCloud rapper?
We've been rappers this whole time. I'm Akira the Dawning, our music.
We gotta drop
podcast.
a mixtape.
Akira the Dawn should do us. That's the Forest Creek
at him
record. Yeah. And at gmail.com and web.com soon.
Yeah, we're working on the website.
Scratch your beard and microphone. Great run on the first sales pitch, man.
It was my thinking scratch.
That's true. You do that all the time. What the heck?
I do continuously touch my facial hair. It is.
What you know? What that's actually. This is a tangent, but what is that?
Yeah.
Well, first off, I grew it because I like doing this. It is fun.
I understand, but I'm just like, why do we do that,
dude?
I think it's like maybe the same way monkeys would like pick ticks out. It's like we're just grooming without knowing it.
It makes me feel like a Neanderthal, dude.
But we're texture grooming in that way. We're like texture grooming. We're feeling it out all the time.
Dude, it's interesting. For like a year or two, I had a beard, and now I've recently started shaving it clean. And I still like touch my face and do the normal whatever emotions I had with my beard. But now it's instead of feeling my beard, I'm feeling a smooth face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird.
Can I feel your face?
I haven't shaved in a day, but sure.
Visit us at the Forest Creek for entertainment and services. We can find out what that means for you and what it honestly means for us when our website goes live, which will happen soon. We're very excited to put out a number of podcasts, a number of articles coming in the future. I've been working on a few things. And videos, certainly. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for J&K Dynamics, our homies who make awesome merchandise. Check it out. whether it be your very own custom lightsaber or their soon-to-come board game, I'm told.
Yep.
Right.
Are we gonna bring them on to talk about?
Oh yeah, you'll get to meet them soon.
That'll be good.
Right. Anyway, I'm Raph.
I'm Jarrod.
I'm AD.
This has been the Forest Creek. Bye.
I love you.
I'm keeping that in.